Paranormal Punches is part of the Podbelly Network. Go to podbelly.com for more great podcasts.
Hey y'all, this is Frank the Bigfoot, and you're listening to the Paranormal Punchers.
Hey friends, welcome to another episode of Paranormal Punchers. I'm Mark.
I'm Alicia.
I'm Nash.
I'm Dave.
And on this episode, we're going to talk about something that literally just happened. I think this went down April 30th of 2023. And we're going to call this Las Vegas Alien Encounter.
I thought we were going to go with a what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Not when it's aliens.
Right. Not when it's aliens.
I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens.
Yep.
And on the second half, we have some listener feedbacks, listener stories, and maybe we'll talk about one of our favorite alien invasion movies. But let's kick off what happened April 30th, 2023, Las Vegas, Nevada.
All right. So just before midnight on April 30th, 2023, people across several states, some even as far as California, saw a bright fireball streak through the sky. Body cam footage from a Las Vegas Metro police officer caught a glimpse of this, but a Las Vegas family witnessed something much more terrifying. So at 11:50 p.m. So it starts in April, but it ends in May. Because I did see some of the reports were like on May 1st, and I was like, well, why am I getting April?
Midnight.
Yeah, it happened at midnight. So anyway.
Time is hard.
Yeah, no, it was hard.
Timey-wimey.
Yeah. All right. So at 11:50 p.m., a Las Vegas Metro police officer caught a glimpse of a bright green light traveling across the sky, which was also caught on his body cam.
Which I saw. You can find it on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
And it is bright.
Yeah.
It is super bright.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Now, at nearly the same time, a doorbell camera in the area recorded a strange noise and what sounded like a crash. Nearby, a father and his two sons were working on a vehicle in their yard at midnight.
People do that.
Well, and it was like, if you look at the overhead, there was a bunch of like buses and stuff. They do repair stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, April 30th, they could have just been outside repairing stuff. Lights were on, having a few beers. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, anyway.
I don't know. I don't have to go into it, but at that time of night,
Dave, go into it.
I'm telling you, it's
the shadows are going to block everything. Like even having artificial lighting, you can't see down into an engine. It's the shadows are just going to cover everything.
who knows? I don't know.
I mean,
It was out west.
Unless they were touching up some paint on the side. Or
Yeah,
something.
you don't know what they were doing.
Right.
Yeah.
They could have just had some chairs out. You know, we were sitting there having a few beers.
Yeah, they could be having beers, but when asked, like, no, we were working. We were
working.
working. Yeah, on the cars. We were not messing around.
sitting there getting drunk in the yard.
They should have come up with a better excuse.
Right.
Anyway, so they were working on their vehicle in the yard when they saw the sparkly object. As it came crashing down, they were hit by what they described as a shock wave. Yeah. Now, one of the young men, Angel, said that when they looked into the yard where the object had landed, the area was obscured and blurry as if it had been hidden or like veiled with camouflage.
Yeah, you know what alien does that kind of stuff?
Bigfoot.
Predator. Yeah, Dave knew.
Sorry.
Nobody bid on what. Thank you, Alicia, for recognizing what I was going after there.
No, Dave and I were right. The camouflage.
Yeah.
Where you know, it bends light. You can't.
Well, the Predator goes fully invisible.
I think his outfit's kind of bending light around.
Yeah.
It, so
It bends,
you don't really.
yeah.
I get it, Nash. But
Yeah.
Yes, because he's always blurry in every photo.
Yes.
Everybody on the planet got it.
we just chose not to recognize.
Thank you. Well, yes. Okay.
So it was at that point he saw a tall creature, which appeared to be 8 to 10 feet tall.
Uh-oh, it is Bigfoot.
Yep, had large eyes was skinny with long legs and was grayish-green in color. He called his dad over, and when his dad saw the creature, he told him, go inside. He said that when he looked the creature in the eyes, his body just froze. He felt like it was similar to experiencing sleep paralysis. The creature just stared right back at him.
And did he describe the creature's eyes as this black, almost like, kind of like what I imagine shark eyes, just this deep black nothingness?
I have a quote from Angel. I'm staring at him, and I'm looking at his whole body, and he has weird-looking feet and a big face.
That's what he was looking at, yeah. The eyes up here, big guy.
Big eyes, and you could see a big mouth. I could hear his loud, deep breathing, and I could see his stomach moving. He would just stare at me. Now, the whole paralysis situation, it just was a matter of seconds because eventually he was able to move. Once he could start moving again, that's when he called 911.
Which I have the call right here. Let's listen.
Okay, what's going on over there?
Okay, lady. Me, my dad, and my brother, we're working on a truck in our backyard, and we have a big lot outside, right? Correct?
Okay.
We were working, and we just see in a corner of our eye something fall down from the sky, and it was with lights. And when it hit down, it was like a big impact, and we felt it. We felt like an energy, and then we hear like a lot of footsteps near us, and then we have a big equipment, and we see, and there's like an 8-foot person beside it, and another one's inside, and it has big eyes and it's looking at us, and it's still there.
Okay, where is this on your property?
In my backyard. I swear to God, this is not a joke. This is actually we're terrified of it.
So there's two people or two subjects
so he's talking
that are in your
911.
backyard?
As he's on the
and
phone
very
walking
large.
around,
They're
that's why you
like
can hear
8
people.
foot, 9 feet,
Okay.
10 foot
Yeah,
down.
because he wasn't alone.
They look
Right.
like aliens to us. Big eyes. They have big eyes,
Okay.
like I can't explain it, and big mouth.
And big mouth. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean, he sounded scared.
Yeah.
He sounded terrified.
It sounds authentic. It sounds like it was, wouldn't be anything else.
Right. Yeah, so publicly after the events, Angel said that the family heard an audible patter of multiple feet in the yard, and they later heard footsteps on their roof.
Now, it was in April and not in December, so it wasn't Santa's reindeers.
Right. And then I think he mentioned this in the audio that they claimed to have seen one of the creatures climb behind the controls of a front loader that was in their yard as well, like it was trying to get it to...
Yeah, trying to start it up.
Yeah.
No. That's not what it was doing. I used to take my son to construction sites every once in a while. When we go for a walk, when we pass a construction site, and if there was like a bulldozer or something, I'd take my son and I'd be like, oh, go climb up in there. And can't really do anything to the front loader, but go play in there. And I would take pictures of him like he's playing on a big truck. That's what the alien was doing. It had been a long time since he played with any Tonka trucks, so he climbed up into the canopy, into the...
So you're saying it was they land as a family vacation? Landed in Nevada? Like, get on that
they were going
Caterpillar
to Vegas,
over
man.
there.
What are you talking about? And then the kid scampered over to the front loader and he was like, look, Dad, and tried to play with it. That's exactly what it was.
I do have to say...
Dave, you disagree?
Well, no. That's plausible. The thing that gets me is that those cabs aren't big. If this is a 10-foot tall...
8 foot.
8 foot to 10 foot. It doesn't matter. A 6-foot person doesn't exactly...
Well, I mean, some of the Caterpillar backhoes, they don't have enclosures, so they could put their head to the side and still get inside the cab.
Yeah, and it could have been mostly legs, too. Yeah. It could have been like legs on
but
a
that's
smaller
even
torso.
harder. Like your knees are then stuck up by your ears.
Yeah,
while you're
I
trying
know.
to-
It's like when I climb into a
It's like
a
you
mini,
getting into a Mini Cooper.
Yeah. Where I'm all knees
I'm actually
around the
not
steering wheel.
happy that I was in sync on that thought
like
process.
a
you
little
were
clown
doing.
car kind of a thing. Yeah.
Now, approximately 39 minutes after the first call, another resident called 911 saying that there were two unknown entities in his backyard after he saw an object fall from the sky. And I have between the dispatcher and him. So there's two people or two subjects that are in your backyard, and that was the dispatcher. He said, correct, and they're very large. They're like 8 foot, 9 feet, 10 foot. I don't know. They look like aliens to us. Now, the caller described what he was seeing, detailing that they had big, shiny neon eyes and mouths.
And mouths?
Yeah. Shiny.
And we're naked.
Yeah, and they were naked. He said
They did come to Vegas to party.
I'm telling you, they did. And they were yard hopping. You know, you go and you jump over somebody's yard and you go through the backyards. That's what the aliens
What,
were
like
doing.
Yeah.
a Ferris Bueller
Yeah.
running through the...
Yeah.
Yeah, he told the dispatcher 100% they're not human.
Yep.
Now, the dispatcher for the Las Vegas Police Department initially wondered whether sending a crisis intervention team was more appropriate to help these families, but decided to ultimately take it seriously. One of the officers can be heard on his body cam or in his car. I think they have audio in their car too. I have butterflies, bro. These families say there are aliens in their backyard. Like, so even the cops were just kind of like,
And I'm pretty
what?
sure that's the same cop, though, that saw
Yeah.
the light in the sky. So
Yeah.
he was like already like, well, I saw that, and now we're dispatched to this house because they say this.
Right.
He was really,
Yeah.
I think he was freaking out a bit.
A little bit, as would probably anybody. So upon arriving, the officers, they looked everywhere for these creatures, and they started asking neighbors if they'd seen anything. Ultimately, though, they closed the case as unfounded.
Now, didn't the police, when the police arrived, they actually saw like people in black suits, sunglasses, and whatnot,
Well, yeah.
driving away? They came to the scene.
Yeah, I did hear that too. Like possible Men in Black
The Men
lurking
in-
Yes.
around.
Right. That they showed up. Now, it probably took, 20 minutes, half hour, whatever, for the cops to show up. The Men in Black were already there.
They were already there,
They're already there doing their thing. They're jazzing people in the eyeballs, forgetting things.
Neuralizing.
Thank you. There you go.
Jazzing people in the eyeballs.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's
Not that kind of podcast.
making them forget whatnot, and they were taking off, and the police showed up, and the police witnessed the Men in Black.
Yeah, so there are many that believe that this is one of the best accounts of an alien encounter ever recorded in modern times. So
And now I did see a picture. They're showing that it left kind of like a circular
Right.
Yeah.
depression
Right.
in their backyard, which it looks like a lot of stone or sand because I guess
Gravel.
grow a lot of grass in
right.
Vegas.
Yeah, no.
And I thought I read that they have some type of cell phone footage, but haven't released it. I don't know if you
Right.
heard
Yeah.
that?
So I guess the police went back and they tried to question the homeowners, and they couldn't get in. There was a couple different times they tried to question the homeowners, and no phone calls,
Yeah.
not responding to anything. But supposedly they do have actual footage, cell phone footage of this whole thing happening.
Jeez.
And I would probably hold out. Some news network would want to pony up some cash, right?
Right.
You don't want to. You just want to launch it on YouTube for free. You want
right.
There is a video out there that it purports to be body cam footage of the alien in the garden.
Oh.
It's definitely a hoax.
Oh, bummer.
It has a date of May 23rd, which is well after this whole thing went
Yeah.
down. And so it's like night vision camera. So
Yeah, and on Twitter, in response to this story, people were calling it hoax. Show me the video. Otherwise, it's a hoax. So people are throwing shade at it. But that 911 call sounded like a scared person.
Yeah.
You could
Yeah.
pull a hoax, but again, hoaxing 911, it's a crime.
right.
Like,
Oh, God, yeah.
It just sounded like he saw something he couldn't explain.
Right.
He freaked out and called the cops.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, and there were multiple calls to 911 saying that they saw something in their yard.
Right.
So it's a multiple families are trying to hoax the police department. I
Right.
don't know.
At the same time.
Yeah.
And
Exactly. Oh, but even the police on their own camera, dash cam, seeing this thing fall from the sky. It was, and at least in the video I saw, it was kind of like a bluish thing, and it was moving fast.
Oh, yeah.
And then at the same time, these calls came in.
Right.
It's kind of tying together pretty well. And I'm just wondering, like Las Vegas, Nevada, what other alien activities do we have in recent months, years. Is this a place where they want to come and kick it?
Right.
The answer is yes. The answer is yes. I mean, basically, all of Las Vegas is surrounded. It's in a big valley, surrounded by mountains. So it's a wonderful area for people to come and enjoy if you're from this planet or not. Have been there a couple of times. You can see Nevada from space. I mean, I haven't been in space, but there's so much light coming from the
So
strip.
you need
and
Las Vegas space.
Yeah, I mean it's. I don't know. It's got to be as bright as New York. I don't know. There's
Brighter, I imagine,
Yeah.
right?
You know, and I came across a bunch of other quote unquote sightings, and a lot of them it was a cold day with a little moisture, and it looks like lights from a casino or something that were bouncing off of, a cloud or something like that.
Okay.
But it's just so bright there that if you wanted to land anything in Vegas, you would be like, oh, well, here's a great place to land. It's all very well lit. Here you go. Let's just land. Not to mention, before I get in, maybe I'll just jump into the whole military side of the whole thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just saying. So I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying?
I assumed you would, so go ahead.
Yeah, Mini Cooper, do it.
So that's right. That might be a good nickname. You just call me Mini Cooper. Right on. Yeah. There are 4 main military bases in Nevada. Okay, there's Nellis, which does strictly aircraft. They're an aircraft, the Air Force Base. If you need a military aircraft, that's where you're going to go. The Creech military base supports the war on terror, so they're actually the brains of the bunch. The Hawthorne military base, it's where all the ammo goes.
Oh.
Its main specialization is ammo, which is kind of scary in what I found, imagine.
No smoking in that one.
No smoking, no farting with lighters. I mean, there's nothing that can ignite anything. And then there's the NAS.
The funny thing, Dave, is that will come back around on the second half of the show.
Oh, see, and I didn't know that.
You have no clue.
Right. I had no clue. Most of the time. The NAS Fallon base. Now, this base, specializes in ground-to-air and air-to-ground, I want to say relations? I don't know. Missiles, defense.
Air-to-ground relations?
I guess. I don't know. Defense, maybe. It's newer than all the other bases, and it's also a Navy base. Okay, so let me put it in perspective. This is a Navy base in the middle of a desert surrounded by mountains. That made me think, okay, well, now this is just some tangential.
No, keep
thought.
going.
Go for it.
Star Trek is
I 100% knew that's what you're going to
It's
do.
based off of the Navy. It's a Navy thing. Yeah, it's not Air Force. It's Navy. So it popped into my head. Actually, the Fallon base was opened in 1942 as a response to the.
Oh, so not named after Jimmy Fallon. Okay.
No, way before him. Opened in 1942 as a response to the Japan invasions in 1941. It was upgraded. It was kind of left to be derelict a little bit, but it was upgraded in 1972. This was also the base where the Top Gun program was moved to. So it's exactly. So you have all the best fighter pilots there, trained to be the best fighter pilots. And if you need ammo, you can get it from anywhere. You can get it from the other Nevada base. There's a bunch of once you coordinate everything with the Creech base, they're basically the brains of the bunch. They coordinate to all the other ones. So I'm like, okay, so basically Nevada has, it's not a trifecta, but it's
Quad.
it's a synergy effect from all the bases together because of the specializations of each base. It's really a synergy effect for all the bases in Nevada. You have the ability for aliens to come down, with all of the ambient light that's in from Las Vegas and from the strips. You have open spaces for when they can come. And there is also a storage facility. There's actually 2 storage facilities in Nevada. There's the Yucca Mountain Nuclear Waste Repository that was mentioned in the well-known documentary.
Here we go.
Yeah. If I don't know if you've seen it or not, but it was a documentary called Godzilla. Where they actually house the mutos. The was it the male Muto? I don't forget. Or the female Muto? I don't know.
But it was it the 60s Godzilla, or
No.
was it the Roland Emmerich 90s Godzilla you were
It was the
referencing?
one where Godzilla, finally a good Godzilla came back. No, it was even newer than that. I think it was like the 2000.
Yeah, with Bryan Cranston.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Where in that one of the Mutos was stored there. Now, the interesting thing about this facility, and it's very interesting. I'm glad you asked, Alicia. You know,
You're not.
yeah. Woohoo! It was approved to be built in 2002. Okay, so they were building it, whatnot. Funding then got cut off. They cut off funding in like 2011, so it stopped. It absolutely stopped. So basically, it was fully built, fully functional, and then once it was created, the funding stopped for it, and it was abandoned in 2011. This facility, it has the storage inside of the mountains that for all of the nuclear waste that's our country creates, I guess. And so right next to that is this Fallon base. So I'm just saying, there's a whole lot of stuff going on there in Nevada. And then, of course, while I was looking... Yeah. Of course.
100%.
Yeah. So you have storage, you have the brains of the operation, plus all of the means to defend against them, to work with them and give them a home or a place to be when they come to Earth. So,
Okay.
yes, I also looked a little bit into Area 51 too.
I was going to say it's about 100 miles away
Yeah.
from Las Vegas. but-
There was some really cool footage from the Jerusalem Post, like Google Earth footage of time lapse of parking lots and cars going into Area 51. Really bitching. You should take a look at that.
Yeah, and I was just thinking aliens might be interested in Las Vegas.
Yes.
because they could really
They can
study
almost-
maybe some of the worst that we have to offer, humanity has to offer,
right.
with all the debauchery that goes down in Las Vegas. Maybe some of the best with some of the great shows. Maybe they would find it like we can learn about humans from one spot
They can
on this planet.
I don't want to say they can roam freely, but they can almost, if they were going to land close to the strip, they can almost roam freely on the strip without anybody paying any attention to them. Almost.
There's so many. Just think about if you're walking down the Vegas Strip and Chris Angel, this magician, comes up and does his crazy ass stuff. Of course, an alien walking the street, you wouldn't blink twice. You would just assume
So somebody in costume.
another Vegas performer.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Exactly right. Exactly right. That's why Vegas is perfect for that. And they have the means, the housing. They have all the necessities that one alien I think would need, other than maybe jumping through people's backyards, which apparently they do. I don't know. I'm just thinking that Vegas would be an ideal spot for them to land.
Dave?
Okay, yeah. We don't know what their needs are, so
Right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
That's why they end up in people's backyards going, fence hopping.
Right, yeah.
They just wanted to play with a backhoe or
Maybe
a
that's their
front loader.
needs. We need to dig a hole.
So wait, am I supposed to be answering something? Is there a question?
Was there an implied question in there that you should be answering?
You look like you had something to...
Oh, I had tons of stuff to say. I just didn't know how I was supposed to continue this.
No, I was trying to kick it over to you to
Okay, cool.
move a new thread through this
Yeah.
this
So,
topic.
I did see they've debunked the circle. That was visible on Google Maps for over a year.
Okay.
So it's
In the backyard?
In the backyard.
Okay.
'Cause I saw that circle and I was like, that wasn't just a pair of tire tracks that did that.
Yeah. So, but overall, if you've listened to me through this whole episode so far, it sounds like I'm debunking it constantly. But this to me is I agree with that headline, the best alien encounter in modern times. Like, I'm super excited about this. I'm usually skeptical about aliens on Earth. Like, yeah, I'm sure there's life out there, but the fact of them coming here is such a minute possibility.
Right.
But with this, it's like, and they have proven that it was a meteor that was the bright light, but that doesn't mean that the meteor didn't come crashing down and that they were somehow inside of it.
Right.
I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah.
They could have been in the meteor.
Yeah. So it's, and then
There
it
was a
opens
movie
up.
like that.
Yeah, there was. What was it? I can't
Well,
remember.
Battleship.
Evolution?
They were coming down. And
True.
I thought it was like some type of meteor breaking apart.
There was an evolution.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that was microbes going and evolving on Earth.
Starship Troopers, but they weren't coming in on the meteors. They were
Right.
those were weapons. But in any case, it's like
What if that's the case? What if they're using that as a distraction and kind of a weapon? Because that whatever. I watched something that talked about the meteor or whatever that blue-green thing was coming down. They said when it landed, if and wherever it landed, it was about the size of a car. It was huge, and
I don't think it could be that big. It would have caused more damage than it
well,
did.
it said it depends on. That's what I say is where it landed.
Right.
The video that I saw said that was thought to land just somewhere in the water somewhere. And if it was in the water, well, then
Convenient.
it could be. Yeah, it could be wherever.
Right.
But the way, if you read up on how asteroids, meteors coming through the Earth's atmosphere, compressing that air, it's not actually, the size of it is it's more of how much air it's trying to displace, and when
Right.
it can't, that's heating up, and that's what causes all the destruction.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
Nash, if you read up on
The
that.
kinetic
you would
energy
know.
getting released.
Right, so it's really, if it hit water, it would still cause a lot of
Yes.
big boom.
Yes.
But before Nash
Bada
jumped in,
boom.
you were saying you kind of believe this.
Yeah. So this is just really, really exciting. Just hearing that 911 call, the way they're describing it, and it's opening up all these ideas in my head of what this could be. Because if they were coming on a meteor, was that like a prison that they were stuck there and shot out into space? And so these are actually criminals that some other civilization didn't want. Or what if, we always think of aliens having to come up with be an intelligent race in order to figure out how to do interstellar travel to get here. But if they were just hitching a ride on a meteor, whether as an alien or not, or as a criminal or not, they could just be a typical animal, like a beast that was their home, and they end up here.
Right.
So now we're not dealing with an intelligent species. We're dealing with a new type of creature. There's no reasoning with them, but they're also not out to get us. They
They could just be stupid.
they're just there.
Interesting. Also around the same time, there was a report that came out, unless you can back us up, because you have some deets. But Art Designs 305 sent this to us about, it was the headline, U.S. urged to reveal UFO evidence after a claim that it has intact alien vehicles. And Art Designs 305 says, finally, possible evidence that we all thought the government had. Oh, man, it's getting close.
Yeah, so David Charles Grush is an Air Force veteran, a former intelligence official, and a representative to the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force. And he is the one that became a whistleblower to the media. And he said that there is a secret UFO retrieval program that the U.S. has been conducting for years. We've been collecting intact and partially intact alien spacecraft in order to research, but also do some reverse engineering.
Velcro.
So, but yeah, so that I feel like really opens up a lot of questions.
Well, in the documentary Independence Day,
Yes, another
they
very
had,
good. I like where your head's at. Yes.
yeah, I did that for you, Nash.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, I don't know, on that, like, given how free our information flows in this country and how much people talk and everything, and you hear about all the people leaking classified information now from
Right.
Snowden on up, is it really viable for all the people that would be required to have a program like this? This is the first time we're getting a whistleblower. Like, this is the
True.
first time there's a real leak about this.
No, I mean, I feel like there's been leaks in the past.
But wouldn't they have
Only if you drink too
triggered
much.
some hysteria of some sort?
I feel like
I think how it gets leaked would really depend
all
on
right,
that.
but I feel like the human race, everybody living on the planet, is full of distractions.
Oh, yeah.
That dang phone, social media, people aren't paying attention. So it's not until a ship literally shows up in the sky like an Independence Day, hovering over a building.
Right.
How can you get people to look up from the phone and
Right.
think about anything else but how to be an influencer today.
And to believe that it's real.
That would be the one way to know it's real. If it's hovering right above your building,
We're hitting-
about to blow it
Because
up.
if you're seeing it on any source of information, it could be a deep fake, it could be Photoshop, it could be whatever.
You kind of need to walk outside and look up. That's why I don't think there's any hysteria. No one's paying attention. No one's even reading some of these articles.
Yeah.
You have whistleblowers all over the place. But if nobody's given a rat's butt because they're too involved with something else, like you literally need the ship to hover above us for us to be like, oh damn,
Right.
it is real.
Yeah. And, I intentionally chose the word hysteria there, but at the same time, I think we've reached a point where everyone, I think, is pretty okay with the concept of aliens. It doesn't mean like
Right.
if they come down fighting, obviously we're going to be in panic mode. But if a ship just appeared in the sky right now, it's going to be a different level of hysteria, much, much less. People are kind of expecting that one day this is just going to happen.
Right.
As opposed to like the 50s where, what do you mean? And like it would have caused a panic. So like if the government wanted to open all these things up and tell us about what they've done, I don't think it would generate.
I think the worst thing that would happen would people be like, yeah, we knew that. Thank
Right.
you for confirming. Anyway.
You know what would happen? You'd see a bunch of T-shirts popping on TeePublic of
Exactly.
Yeah.
it's real. Like, people just be like, oh, cool, it's real. Let's make some money off
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm very, very curious. We can get into the discussion on the second half. Just if aliens come, good, bad, trade, or just annihilate and take over. So why don't we think about that? And we'll talk about it in the second half, along with some listener feedback. We'll be right back. And we're back. All right, final thoughts. Las Vegas, aliens invading.
I liked your thoughts on the Air Force bases.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. It's because it's correct.
Some people think this is a hoax. And then I have a quote from science writer Mick West. He says, a raccoon, which has pretty big black eyes, could be on top of the fence, and someone could mistake that in the darkness as an alien being with giant eyes or something like a coyote jumping over the fence.
Oh, okay. A coyote sitting on top of the fence?
Yeah, apparently.
So that's what the bleep is that dude talking about? What?
I'm sure if I saw a raccoon on top of a fence, I would not be like, that's an alien.
Right.
Yeah. And I wouldn't call it naked.
Right?
It definitely has fur.
Right. So anyway, I feel like
Fence.
a lot of people saw something and it terrified them because it didn't compute as far as like, what am I looking at?
Right.
So something happened.
I wonder where that dude's from. You know?
I don't know.
Because
Somewhere there's giant raccoons sitting on
well,
fences.
and also one of the weird things you'll find in the Southwest is you don't have wooden fences. You have chain link fences or block walls. You don't have wooden fences because wood dries up and it burns.
Right.
So I wonder where that guy's from. I call the question that quote and where he's from.
I know.
I pity the fool who says stuff like that.
All right, so I said, like, if aliens were to come down, do you think they would be here to make friends, destroy and take over, or just sit back and study and try not to get involved?
I think there's a fourth option.
Do it.
Oh boy.
And
Is
mention
it breeding with us?
Oh God.
no, because that would be in one of the other options.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what they're going to do. But anyway, I was actually when you mentioned that, I thought of the film documentary, of course, District 9,
Okay.
where those aliens are refugees. They're on a ship. They're refugees on a ship. It's not, and the ship would have been either attached or tracking the path of the asteroid or whatever came down. So they could literally be refugees and none of the above, just trying to get away and survive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dave, what do you think?
Again, I go back to, it's possible that they're not intelligent life, so there is no good or bad. They just are.
Right.
But if it's,
But then why would they get into a front loader and play with the controls?
I don't know. I mean,
Well, they
Make
got
it
to be
curious.
intelligent
Yeah.
why?
because they built a ship to get here.
No, that's what I'm saying. If they hitched a ride on a meteor, they may not be intelligent. They may just be Yeah.
Okay.
Like holding on to the asteroid, like in the second Avatar movie. You know, where they're underwater holding onto the thing, just floating along.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, we all know that Nash watched that crappy movie.
Cinematic.
I still haven't watched it.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Oy.
In any case.
The Way of Avatar: The Way of Water.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
In any case, assuming they're intelligent, I like to think that they would follow what we would probably do if we could explore other planets that had life. We would start
Probe.
off on a very cautious manner.
Probe the
We
big
would-
mammals.
We would do some reconnaissance and watch from afar. But then we would go in and we would assume good intent until we were proven wrong.
Well, that's very similar to like what, and I keep going back to Star Trek, of course, but that was their protocol with relations with new species that they were discovered. They were not
First
they were,
contact.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
they were allowed to observe but not interact. And
Right.
they couldn't let themselves be
Right.
made aware of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until that planet was ready.
Correct.
In fact, in the one movie, it wasn't until they achieved like
Warp drive.
warp drive, and
Right.
then they knew. Okay.
Right.
Yep. But even to that, humans aren't altruistic, so I don't think it's for the greater good that they would interact and assume the best. I think it would be one of those, make sure we're not dealing with something that's bigger and stronger than us that could fight back, and then we would probably do like an Avatar and try to take over all their resources.
Yeah,
and,
trying to find their unattainium.
yeah, yeah.
What a dumb name for the,
It was
the
the
mineral.
stupidest name.
Oh,
So that's how I think if aliens came here, that would be exactly what they're going to do. They're going to watch us from afar, then they're going to come in,
They're
and
gonna
they're going to
recon.
not like just instantly attack us. They're going to see what our strengths are,
Yeah.
and once they know how strong we are compared to their strengths, they're either going to try to take over, become overlords, or probably just
Decimate.
go away.
So what you're saying is the likelihood of a Pacific Rim situation happening follows that almost identically, because that whole force was like a recon
Right.
force is what they're dealing with. And the overlords were going to terraform the planet, but
Right.
they needed to send those guys out to clear the planet out
Right.
first. Okay, all right. And probe us.
and probes. Well, they got to learn.
We got to learn.
Right.
The best way you can learn is by
I
shoving.
definitely think they're definitely investigative. They're studying, because if they just landed and showed themselves, depending where they landed in the world, people would just open up fire.
Yeah.
We would just be launching everything we had at that. So they need to step back, learn, maybe see, hey, can we build a human cyborg?
Right.
Send that down. They won't even know. We build it.
Okay.
It intermingles. It learns. Sends the data back to us. I'd say a fact-finding mission for a long time. And then they might realize that, we should just take the planet over.
They're idiots. Let's take it. Let's do it.
I think they've already.
They were
done-
like, we watched this documentary called Idiocracy. we think that's going to happen.
We know what's going to happen to them in the future.
I think they've already done that. I can think of two examples of robotic-like human beings that have come down and are sort of taking us over in Zuckerberg and Musk.
Okay. AI
Yeah,
is now the talk of the town.
yeah.
Right.
And they're saying that could definitely lead us to Terminator 2.
Yeah.
Or just
Yeah.
Terminator. Yeah. All right, Liz, do you think they're here to be friendly or decimate?
Well, neither. I think you're right. I think they're maybe curious. They want to learn some more information about us before they really interact with us. But
For all we know, it is the USS Enterprise. And they're like, man, there's a long
Right.
way to go before first contact.
Right.
We'll come back in 15 light years.
right.
Yeah.
Well, because we have
a
reports going
distance.
back to we have UFO encounters going back to the 50s or the 40s or the 20s. We have them going back for almost 100 years.
Yeah.
You know, so at some point they've got to stop. They've got to gather all the information on us that they need and either do what they're going to do. They got to either, pardon the phrase, but shit or get off the pot. You know, kind of a thing, because we're really getting tired of getting probed.
Oh, jeez.
Just saying.
All right.
Just saying.
You make
Some
it,
of us
you
haven't
ma-
had the
I
experience.
was going to say, you make it sound like you're getting sick of it.
I'm just saying the human race in
Like,
general.
Yeah.
Aliens just keep showing up at Nash's house.
You're like, okay, it's Marty's turn.
Okay. Well, all right. We should, just lead to the next conversation. Alien movies.
Okay.
I thought, like, we talk about invasion, we talk about big blockbuster. One came to mind was Independence Day.
Yep.
Okay.
These aliens were not here to make peace, do any trade, any bartering, study. They were here to take over the planet and wipe out the population.
Right.
This is a Roland Emmerich movie, who is considered, we looked up the other day, the master of disaster.
Yes.
Oh, big disaster movies.
He's always making big disaster movies.
Not as in like flops, like.
Some of them are a disaster.
There's been.
Yeah. He has.
So in every
Moonfall.
phrase,
Moonfall was
Moonfall
a
was
disaster. This also has Jeff Goldblum
Yep.
being as Goldblum as possible.
Yeah.
We got Will Smith. We got
Bill Pullman.
Bill Pullman,
Yeah.
the president,
Yeah.
Vivica
giving
Fox.
Vivica Fox.
Oh yeah, she's in it.
Bill Pullman, the president of the United States, giving that rallying speech
Yeah.
before the fighter pilots have to go up and take on
Right.
a giant ship.
Randy Quaid was in
Classic,
it.
Crazy Randy Quaid was in it. Now, do you guys consider this like a good movie, or a B movie that's a B movie but really good, so it's fun, or do you consider this like a really good 9 out of 10 blockbuster?
I would say.
Go for
I'm
it.
sure you all know.
No, we know you love it.
Yeah, I absolutely love this movie. I've loved it since I first saw it when I was 14.
God, you're young.
I know. I went to the theaters with a couple friends, and we saw the movie. I thought it was great. We came home, turned the TV on, and it was like a special news bulletin. And I started freaking out because I was like, oh my gosh, are we having...
Is it happening?
Right. Is this happening right now? But it was like a plane crash or whatever. But
Oh, wow. Let's gloss over that one.
Wow, not so bad. It's just a plane crash.
yeah, sorry. But I just remember loving this movie so much.
Wow, that went dark. Wow, Alicia.
Feel like you were inducted and replaced.
Right. Wow.
But no, this is probably my number one favorite movie. So
Yeah, I enjoy this movie. It can
Oh
be,
my God, a movie national lights.
Yeah. It can be on at any time, and I enjoy it. I like the progression of it. The walk back, the scene with Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum walking through the desert, coming off.
Right.
Those are two sexy dudes.
Having
in that
a cigar.
Scene, right? Oh yeah, that
'cause
was
they
a
had to
great
save that
freaking
cigar
scene.
until-
It doesn't matter who or what you are. That was a good
You're
scene
obsessed
right
with
there.
that lady.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the sci-fi of it. I enjoy the rallying call that Bill Pullman gives.
oh
and
God, yeah, his speech.
his speech was a
The
great
speech
one.
is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So every 4th of July, my friend and I, we post on each other's Facebook his
The whole speech? Do you really?
Yeah. And
Wow.
it's been what
But
we've
don't
done.
you try to see who's the first one to wake up
Yes.
and
Yes.
post it first?
Yeah.
Now, some of the funny things that I
didn't
love.
get Dave's opinion.
I wasn't done.
Wow.
Dave. What do you think?
I'll keep it short.
Wow. That's what she said. Sorry.
No, this I give it 10 out of 10. I love this
wow.
movie. It's like in my eyes, it is the perfect summer blockbuster definition. It's not the world's greatest movie. It's not Schindler's List or anything like that, but it has.
Well, I mean, they're not even the same category, but okay.
Right. Yeah. For a summer blockbuster, this has everything. There's a little bit of romance. There's a little bit of drama and family and all of that stuff, and then of course the whole sci-fi and action and everything that
Yeah.
is
Right.
above everything. It's like I love it.
I have.
I'm surprised you put that with Schindler's List. It's no Schindler's
I was gonna
List, but I'm
say.
just saying, with the romance and the explosions,
It
it's
really
not like
wasn't
Schindler's List.
Wasn't really a fair comparison.
Citizen Kane.
Oh my
I don't know
God!
if it's Citizen Kane either. For
That's
me,
why I'm saying it's not one of those.
I think it's kind of a B movie.
What?
No, but in a good way, because it is kind of dumb, and there's elements where there's a moment where aliens are invading, they're trying to figure out what to do. There's these giant ships hovering over locations all across the world, and Jeff Goldblum,
Yeah.
he helps figure out because he works at like Comcast,
Right.
because he's a cable guy, he can tell some signals, and
He's a smart dude.
he's working at Comcast.
But from MIT. I mean, he graduated
True.
from
He's,
MIT.
he's a wicked smart dude. Jeff Goldblum is always playing.
Comcast plays pretty good to the IT guys. I mean, they got a good checkbook.
Anyway, all of Washington, they needed Jeff Goldblum. But they do figure some stuff out. They have a plan, and then they start using like Morse code.
Yep.
And then we get a cut scene to Britain's armed forces.
Yep.
And the guy in charge is like, it's America. One guy's like, it's America. They have a plan. And one guy's like, it's about bloody time.
Yep.
Like they're just waiting. Like, just wait for America.
Right, yeah.
They're going to figure this out. So there's moments like that are just, it's just funny.
Yeah.
And that's why I put it in the B category, but in a good B category. Like, yes, it's cheesy. It's over the top. We got one-liners
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
left and right.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I don't think you ever walk away watching the movie feeling like that sucked. You walk away going like, I'm entertained as shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I
100%.
need another one like that.
Right.
I think it fits into my version of what most people would put like the some terrible movies like Twister and Mummy, things that come on and you could just watch. Those are all garbage, and you should just turn off the television. But Independence Day, definitely, it's a good, fun movie to
Yeah.
watch. It makes you feel good at the end.
I think that's the best way to say it. It's just a good, fun movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't check your brain at the door. You're not. It's
Right.
cool.
So I
Just
guess
you grab
taking-
popcorn and go for it.
That's the analogy I was trying to make when I said Schindler's List or Citizen Kane or whatever.
You're making an analogy to that.
So,
Dave.
in your opinion, you described it as a B movie, but in the category of summer blockbuster,
I think it was
what's
like
an A?
Oh.
That's what I was trying
Because
to get to. Is that
okay.
in the summer blockbuster category,
I think
this
it-
is an A. This is a 10 out of 10.
It's like
not
the-
a B movie.
I think it's like
I get
the
you, Dave. All right.
I think it's like the definition of a summer blockbuster.
yeah. Compared to Citizen Kane and Schindler's List, yes, it's a
All
B
right,
movie.
an A summer blockbuster would be something like Avengers or Avengers Endgame.
Okay.
It was in that same thing. It was.
Oh no, it doesn't hold a candle to those two movies.
What was the release date of Independence Day?
July 4th,
Of what? What year?
1990.
I think in 98.
Right.
Eight.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I think it was
You
98.
couldn't do Avengers Endgame in '98.
No, the CGI would have looked.
Terrible. But there was some
Plus,
really
we didn't
good.
have Chris Evans as Captain America. Yet.
Right.
That's true. Actually, some of the CGI that they did in that movie was pretty ahead of its time.
Actually, that's one thing. It holds up.
Yeah.
If you watch it now, the CGI holds up. I'll tell you what doesn't. If you watch Star Wars, the Clone Wars, or the prequels,
Right.
Episode 2 or whatever, that CGI is wonky. It does not hold up. But Independence Day does.
It does. And like when the ships are coming over the airfield, you can see the shadows of the ships on the ground, and they're doing the flies through in the canyon and whatnot. That's all great footage, man. That's good stuff.
Do you think we'll always just, if we don't know what to do with it, we're just going to nuke it? We'll send some jets up. Oh, our Stinger missiles had no effect. All right, well, we're just going to next step, nuke it.
Right.
Yeah, we have nothing in between.
Right.
Wait, we don't have another missile we could try to just go right.
Listen,
to
I don't
nuke
think that would happen. At least not in this case, where
it's a movie
where we
yeah.
don't have something we don't think it's powerful enough. We would see what the damage our missiles are doing and say, okay, it's having no effect.
Okay.
It's not amping it up. That's going to.
And where I go with B movie, Dave. So just the solution, because there's they nuked it, but it had no effect because they have shields.
Right.
So the solution is go to Area 51 because we have a ship that crashed from Roswell.
Sure.
It's 100% intact, and we figured out how to fly it because trial and error, And we're going to send Will Smith and Goldblum up, and they're going to plant a virus.
Yep.
So a computer virus. Give it a call. What do you say? We're going to give it a code.
Right.
you're telling me that our computer technology, whatever, we can create a virus that an alien computer system would actually be affected by.
Right. Why not?
What I think. Here's where I think it's kind of a B movie because you're not supposed to think too hard on that. You just accept that. Hell yeah, because it's Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum, and they're going to do it.
Oh yeah.
Well, but the programming language of the aliens has got to be based on something similar.
I would say not at all.
Yeah.
I think
See,
alien.
and that's
computer
actually
system.
the thing is if we could figure out how to interface our computers to their computers,
Wi-Fi will do it.
then giving it a virus is, it would be like any other hacking activity to figure out vulnerabilities and get in and do something. You couldn't do it overnight unless they really had no security whatsoever. But
Right.
just getting that interface, getting it connected. So
But
that
they
the two
had the
things
ship
could
with the force fields there, so they could figure all that stuff out.
but
And Jeff
Did
Goldblum
it-
was really smart.
did it have USB ports?
I don't know. I'm just saying I wasn't there. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like, what technology are you going to interface with?
You know
Are you gonna
how
use-
many dongles they would need to adapt their computer to that computer?
Right. Oh, come on, Firewire? Who has those cables anymore?
Who has those things anymore? Come on.
I think that's what kind of makes it a B movie, in my
Yeah.
opinion. But not. I don't mean it as a negative. Then when they do take the shields down, Randy Quaid drives his thing right up
The main gun.
Well, because he was out of missiles.
and he's like,
Does anybody have any missiles left?
but then he makes a big one-liner like, "Honey, I'm home," or something like that. It's
Yeah.
kind of like,
Yeah.
these are the B movie elements.
Yeah.
And I think they relish in them. And they knew they were making like
You
this
said
is
that-
a sci-fi action comedy. We're going for it. We're swinging for the fences.
Okay, so that was in '98, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's review the big summer blockbusters from going into the '90s and in the '80s. How many of those? Let's look at some of the action movies that are out there. Hey, Mark, do you know anybody who might be into maybe a podcast about action movies from the '90s and '80s?
Oh, that would be Swole Cinema, where Strongman Ryan and myself, Ryan being the strongman, me being the nerd, talk about 80s and 90s action movies. You should check it out. Swole Cinema. It's on all the podcast apps.
But how many of those that was the summer blockbuster for years and years and years. How many of those had a catchphrase?
Every single one.
Every single one. So that's why it had to be in there. Now we don't really have that as much anymore, but that was probably one of the last.
Yeah, the 80s and 90s, they had to have the
Yep.
Arnold's most of his dialogue was just one line.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah, it's just
Stick
good.
around.
It'd been awesome if he was in this one.
Stick around.
But there's one. Would you consider Predator? Blockbuster B movie? But
So-
I say that's one of the best alien movies.
Right.
Period.
Yeah.
I don't know. That came out in, I think, 87. I don't know when it came out in the year. And I think there's a particular thing that at least I was talking about here, the summer blockbuster.
Yes.
It always came out at a particular time
Yep.
around the summer release, around July 4th.
And you could
that kind of-
always plan it.
And, right. And there
Every-
was always this one that was planned every year. And the movie that killed summer blockbusters was Wild Wild West.
Yep.
Everything dropped off then.
Well, because it was terrible.
It was, but then like Endgame, you mentioned Endgame. Endgame wasn't a summer blockbuster. It was
was
a
May.
blockbuster.
Oh, right,
because it was May when it
right.
came out.
Yeah.
You know,
Mark, pull your head out of your rear.
quick quiz for everybody. Do you know the movie that started what we consider summer blockbusters? Dun, dun, dun,
Rambo?
dun, 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 dun.
No,
Came out late 70s.
Jaws.
Yes, it is Jaws.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, there you go. Okay.
Okay. Anyway, I guess that's our movie discussion.
build the conversation.
Yeah.
I did want to throw
that
it
was a
out
great
that
trivia fact. We
I love talking about Independence Day. I think it was a really good choice for this. I think there's another movie that may fit the Vegas alien encounter a little bit closer.
Con Air?
No,
You probably hate that one too.
I hate it.
that would be Signs.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, let's do it.
But that wasn't in the definition of the summer blockbuster with things
No,
exploding.
no, no. We're not comparing it to Independence Day. We're comparing it to the topic we talked about.
Oh, yeah.
the Vegas alien
Yes.
encounter.
Aliens landing
Yep.
in your backyard.
Yeah.
And
then
what's what they did.
Quick glimpse. Everything's shadow organization.
And the aliens in that movie were kind of tall and lanky.
Yeah.
Like he described.
right.
What was Joaquin's name in that movie?
Joaquin. Morgan.
Morgan.
Swing away, Morgan.
Swing away. Yeah,
swing away, Morgan.
Let me tell you something about that movie. I hated that movie.
What?
When it came, it's my opinion. I hated that movie when it came out, but over more
You warmed
watches
up
of the
to
movie,
it.
No, I realized it actually is a really good movie.
It's a good movie.
I think I didn't like that scene with the whole swing away. Things sometimes
There were some things in that movie I didn't appreciate.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Sometimes
And I
M.
think
Night
I
tries
also
a little
wanted-
too hard to bring everything together.
Yeah.
and have his twist.
Right.
But I also think I wanted maybe more alien action, and I had to watch it more times to realize like that's not really
Yeah.
what the movie is about. And
Right.
once I started getting it, I'm like, it's a really good movie.
Yeah.
And even to the point where we wanted to go to, is it E-Town? Not E-Town. Somewhere in outside of Philadelphia where they...
is it
is
Easton?
it Easton?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where that bookstore scene goes down. A couple other scenes are like, I kind of want to go
Yeah.
to these filming locations.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Signs is great. Again, first watch, I didn't like it, but now I think I get it. And
But not
it's
a
really good movie.
not a summer blockbuster like Independence Day.
Right.
No. This is kind of like a, what do you call that? Like not a thinking man's movie.
Yeah, it's- yeah.
Kind of like what do you call that, dude? Come on, it's not cerebral. It's more,
Psychological thriller.
yeah.
Yeah, more
Cerebral.
suspense. There's more suspense
Cerebral.
than yeah.
Right.
So, but did anybody? So, comparing Independence Day, I just saw the very beginning of Independence Day 2
Oh,
on
boy.
television.
No,
Talk about one
There
of
was
the,
never a sequel made.
Yeah.
Never.
We're not going to talk about
No,
it.
it was such
there was,
a big drop off.
there was-
I've never seen a
there was-
cliff so big.
There was a few fans that got together and
my gosh.
imagined what they could do, but when people heard the concept, it was just terrible, and so no sequel was ever made.
never made it. Yeah, remove it from the
I'm
annals.
not sure we even finished said movie.
I've
Yeah,
never.
I can't remember.
I think it's so bad.
I've
and
never
it's
gone-
again Roland Emmerich. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never been farther than 10 minutes into the movie, and I was like, "What is this? I don't know what this is. Is something else on?"
Which is hilarious because I thought you'd be like, look, it is the best sequel ever.
No.
Empire Strike Back? No. Independence Day 2 is the best sequel ever.
Yeah, no. I saw like I said, the first 10 minutes and was like, "Oh, there's a Hemsworth in there." Okay, and then I was like, "This is such a drop off." I mean, it's not like one steps to the other. You're even kind of
Well, and they hobbled Bill Pullman. Like, you can't do that.
yeah. It was just I was a night and day difference. I was surprised. So
Yeah, don't watch it. I don't.
Independence
I do
Day
not
4,
recommend.
all day, any day. Throw it on, enjoyable movie. Catch the scene where they're walking in the desert, and you'll be like, "Hello, all right, guys."
I wouldn't say a 10 out of 10, but enjoyment wise, you're gonna feel like a 10 out of 10
Yeah.
because it's just fun to watch. And you know what? At the end of the day, the world, humans, we push back the aliens, and like hell yeah,
Yep.
we win.
We win. Yeah. All thanks to Randy Quaid.
Flying that ship right up the butt of the alien's ship.
That's right. That's right.
All right, that's our movie.
Our movie rant.
Sorry.
I guess we're not. You're
no, not about the movie, but talking about it in the Men in Black reminded me of one detail we left out from the Vegas encounter. So the Homeland Security set up camera systems on their house to record this area, and no one knows why. It's like it's they got a I'll just use Ring. They have a whole Ring system now set up that Homeland Security is monitoring. I guess in case the aliens come back. I don't know. It's weird.
maybe okay. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to move on to the final part of the show, listener feedback. So we give a shout out to new Patreon members, Indiana Jenny
Nice.
and Andrew Rue, a.k.a. the professional wrestler Matt Turner. He is now a Patreon member. Boom!
Oh, yeah, brother.
Thank you.
All right, so we heard from Desmond. Hey, Pea Punchers. Glad to see you stepped into the world of Japanese folklore with the
What we did the show.
Tsuchinoko. I know, but I was good that show, but I almost botched it on that one.
Right.
Tsuchinoko. I'm a folklorist myself and have done a lot of research on folklore around the world, and Japan has especially interested me. I'd like to humbly suggest you investigate the Yuri, Onryo, and Kuchisaki Anna. Okay. Sorry for all the mispronunciations, but we'll look this up. All three are forms of vengeful female spirits, and in my opinion, rather unsettling. The last of the three even causing a real-life panic in Tokyo.
Really?
Ooh.
Yeah. But I did thank Desmond for the suggestions.
Definitely.
And he replied, no problem. Consider me a friend of the show and a fellow enthusiast. Teki Teki is also a good one, and there are plenty of movies to pair with these, that's great.
Nice.
Got a listener story for you as well. It goes like this. Back in the late 70s, a mid-sized town in Alabama was plagued by sightings of a dancing figure wearing a cow skull by the side of the road. This went on for a few months before someone took the logical route and opened fire on the mysterious creature.
Yeah, okay.
It was scared so bad that it was never seen again. Now that's how you deal with the paranormal. Wow. Remember, if it's not weird, it's not worth checking out. Like Nash's butt.
Okay.
Which is totally worth checking out.
What?
Just reading what Desmond wrote.
All right.
And that's where I was circling back to the lighter and farts.
right.
I'm like, no, Desmond, you do not want to be around Nash's butt.
Right.
Well, in that scenario, I would agree with that 100%. But I got to tell you, it's pretty tight and looking pretty good back there. I'm just saying.
It's all those squats you hate to do.
All the squats that I'm doing. Oh, yeah, it's tight. You could bounce a quarter off of that thing. You know what I'm saying?
No. No, I should have left out that last part. We heard from Indiana Jenny. Hey, guys. Indiana Jenny here. I was just listening to your 100th episode, the game show, and thought I'd write about a few things. First, the Churubusco monster. I live about 45 minutes from there. Drive through there quite often on my way to corporate headquarters and always wondered why there are turtles on everything. I remember you doing an episode about it and was delighted to learn about something so close to me, but I didn't notice that your pronunciation is wrong.
Oh.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's pronounced Busco, like a school bus.
Okay.
Cherubusco.
Okay. Well,
How
there
did
you
you
go.
say it before?
Churro.
Like a churro.
Churubusco.
Okay.
Indiana Jenny, you're going to find out.
Everything we pronounce is wrong.
Is wrong. Next, I have a theory on the Hat Man. Not sure if it's already been mentioned, but what if it's not a hat? What if it's indeed a being or beings from another dimension peering through the pudding skin? Totally team pudding skin
For
here.
the win!
But that's the shape of its head, not a hat. Just a thought.
Oh.
Now, I did have a thought of that because the aliens in Independence Day had a really kind of weird shaped head.
Right.
If you'd see just a silhouette, would it look like they're wearing some weird hat?
Correct. Yeah.
So what if the Hat Man is just aliens in the corner
Right.
Oh, God.
creeping on you while you're sleeping?
Yeah.
Alicia?
What if our brains are just associating
think?
what we know for something we don't
Since
understand?
Mark left you for dead.
I know,
In that
right?
I
scenario.
didn't leave her dead.
Dealing with
just-
aliens or Hat Man in the
he
the
left you
corner.
for torture.
For torture.
I just rolled over like, hey, you know,
Sucks to be you.
if you're there in the morning, cool. Yeah. And next, I thought I'd tell you about one of my most recent experiences. It's amazing the things that happen to you once you open yourself up to the possibility of all that is going on in our universe. And I'm going to let Lish read this part.
Okay. Since I am now known as Indiana Jenny on your show, let me first tell you that Jenny is a name from long ago, when I was a young girl. Since my first divorce, almost 30 years ago now, I have been called Jennifer by anybody that I have met along the way. The only people who still call me Jenny are my family and friends from a long time ago. However, I picked Indiana Jenny because it sounded closer to Indiana Johnny after another listener on your show. I'm sorry, I'm having problems.
It's okay. You're doing great.
Okay. This is important to this story for reasons you'll soon understand. I was recently talking to my friend from Chicago that I met about 2 years ago, and who has just recently started learning to become a Reiki, Reiki.
Massage therapist?
Okay.
I don't know.
There's a school of massage therapy.
Okay.
Cool.
Through this process, she is starting to hone in on her medium abilities.
Mm-hmm.
I was very upset about something going on in my love life and was telling her that I am 52 years old and it will never change. She was trying to encourage me when all of a sudden she stopped and got silent for a few seconds. She started acting very strangely, and I was a little confused as to what was going on from her end as we were on the phone. She finally said, "Look, I don't want you to think I'm crazy, but since I've started opening myself up to my abilities, I'm hearing dead people." She continued that she wasn't sure if the female energy that was now pestering her was related to me, but she was being very aggressive physically and was insistent upon giving me a message. She mentioned that it might be my grandma. I was very confused because I was only thinking of my mom's mom, who was not aggressive or overbearing at all. She was very sweet, kind, and timid. Then it dawned on me when my friend said, "Oh, she's funny. I like her. She's a hoot." Wait, my dad's mom was a handful, and she was exactly like that, a hoot. So although I still was skeptical that this could be my grandma, I agreed to accept the message with a rolling of the eyes. Even though I believe in this stuff, for whatever reason, I just didn't believe that it was my grandma. When my friend was giving me the message, which started out with, "It's generational," I already knew this. I come from a long line of women who had failed relationships over and over. But then the next thing she said took my breath away. She said, "Jenny, as long as you're still here, you can change it." She said Jenny. This friend had never known me as Jenny. We worked together, and everyone at work, including her, called me Jennifer. And that is exactly how my grandma talked to me. She would say, "Jenny," and then continue with whatever she had to say. I just sat there stunned. It took me a while to speak, but told my friend why I was so shocked, and I asked her to tell my grandma that I love her and miss her. She said, "She can hear you." I couldn't sleep that night. I was tossing and turning at this new discovery. It's just so wild. I know it was my grandma. I messaged my friend and told her that I'm sorry to tell her this, but my grandma was probably going to be pestering her a lot to talk to me now. She said, "Yeah, I had to tell her to not get physical with me like that again. If I need her, I'll call her." She said she really liked her, but she's a lot. She said my grandma looked at her with a raised eyebrow like, yeah. I'm sorry, but I'm not saying I'm sorry." That is my grandma to a T, including the raised eyebrow. So that's my story for the day. Hope you enjoyed it. I have more to tell next time. I just became a patron. I'll buy a t-shirt here soon when winter gets closer. Have a great weekend.
Indiana Jenny.
Wow.
Thank you so much for
Yes,
sharing
thank you.
that story with us. And also for being a patron. Appreciate it. Would you like to share a story with us? ParanormalPunchers.com. You find all the ways to contact us. Any thoughts on that? Talking to a medium and your grandma. Be a little
I really like.
interesting for sure.
Yeah, I really like the idea of if she's going through the process of opening up her
Right.
energy and whatnot, and opening to it, and finding out that she actually has the ability to do this. The idea of seeing and hearing dead people, that's terrifying. Mm-hmm. But I guess it kind of depends on the circumstance. If like in The Sixth Sense where you just kind of see him walking around, oh my God. Yeah, that would be terrifying. But connecting with family and that is pretty amazing.
Right.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah, thank you.
And somehow we referenced 2 M. Night Shyamalan movies in
Shyamalan
this episode. That's
That's right.
that's amazing in itself.
Right.
And I think we all like the movies we referenced from M. Night.
Right.
Don't get me started on The Village.
That's a good movie.
I like the Village.
I like The Village, but
I stand alone, and I will fight all of you on this, but we're not going to watch The Village, so we can have a debate.
Right.
That's not a good movie.
What? Anyway, for later. We'll pin
That's for a Patreon.
That's right. We'll pin that in the parking lot and get to that later. Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
I don't think so.
All right.
Please, aliens, be real. Come see me.
Come see Dave.
Be nice.
Yes, be nice.
Be nice. That's all. Yeah.
Aliens?
Yeah. Yeah, please.
Everybody.
Everybody.
Be nice.
Aliens and non-aliens. Yeah.
All right, everybody's giving a final thought.
oh, it was interesting to talk about it.
Okay. Yes, aliens. Be cool.
Yeah, just be cool.
Otherwise, I can tell you exactly what we're going to do. We're going to launch some nukes.
Yeah.
And that's not going to be good for anybody.
Nope. Because if you show up in my backyard, and it's midnight, and I'm sitting out there with a buddy, and we're working on cars, we're just enjoying the thing. We're just enjoying the time. We're not actually, trying to repair a car to get it to go for somebody, whatever. We're just playing around. Having a few drinks, playing around. And if an alien shows up and does this thing and goes yard hopping, and you're a dick, that's going to be a bad situation.
Right.
I'm
saying if aliens show up in my backyard, dude, I got a fridge full of beer.
I got a cold. If they're nice, that's right. If they're nice and they're not being dicks, then yes, come on.
I was
over
like, you want to learn about humans? Grab a beer. I can tell you a lot you don't have to probe anybody.
Yeah.
Right.
You could just have a beer, and this is how you can learn about human beings.
Although aliens have a fatal allergy to gluten, and you just killed them all.
Oh, I started the war because I gave an alien a beer. Yeah. Woo, let's write that movie. All right. Until next time, everybody, remember, if it's not weird,
It's not worth checking out.
unlike Nash's butt, apparently.
Check it out. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.